Let's talk about Tyrann Mathieu and Philadelphia Eagles rumors, the best tight end in the NFL, Travis Kelce. Stephon Gilmore signing with the Colts, an NFL player connected to a fatal shooting, and much more. But first, how about those? What's up, everybody? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL overall, so make sure to sub. If you are new, hit that like button, and let's get into this news. To start off, the Chiefs recently released some of their top photos of Chiefs fans over the course of the 2021 season. You know the Chiefs Kingdom does not play when it comes to game day. I know that can be said of fan bases from a lot of NFL teams or sports teams in general, but I am very biased, born and raised in Kansas City. When it comes to our fan base here in KC, I like the photo of this guy here with his kid, and I think he is a very brave man for bringing his kid in the first place. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, probably not bringing them for a while. Looking back on these photos just makes me that much more ready to get back to Arrowhead next season. And then here's an article from Arrowhead Pride on who the Chiefs have recently brought in for top 30 visits over the past couple of weeks. You have wide receivers George Pickens, Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, cornerbacks Jaquan McMillian, Joshua Williams, Samuel Womack, and Jalen Watson, safeties Nasir Greer and Vontae Davis, tight ends Lucas Krull and Jalen Watermeyer, defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt, among many others. And if I butchered a name, I sincerely apologize. Make sure to check out the article in the description to check out a list of everyone. There's certainly been a lot, and I'm excited for this upcoming draft. And then Mitch Holthus was recently at Salvation Army's annual luncheon. I believe it's a fundraiser of some sort for them, but it was a pretty cool thing to see him alongside NFL legend Terry Bradshaw. Mitch refers to Terry as a Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP, Hall of Fame player, analyst, actor, and horse raiser, aka one of a kind. And according to Mitch, Terry mentioned how special it was for him to be there with Andy Reid and company during the Super Bowl trophy presentation. You gotta love that. And then JuJu Smith-Schuster just released a pretty cool behind-the-scenes video of him on his YouTube channel, and this actually had some BTS footage of him flying to KC to sign his contract, doing some off-season training and workouts. This isn't training with Mahomes and company, but it's prior to that. But it is pretty cool and worth checking out. Link to the full videos in the description. Make sure to peep it. It's pretty lit, as JuJu would say. I personally think he's going to have a great season in 2022. I can feel it deep in my soul, as long as he stays healthy, of course. And remember, his stats that everyone likes to bring up was with a declining Ben Roethlisberger throwing to him. He now has Patrick Mahomes, so let's freaking go JuJu Smith-Schuster. And then PFF recently asked on Twitter, who is tight end 1? Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, or Darren Waller? And while I actually like all of these a lot, even Darren Waller, whom I refer to purely as Baller Waller, the answer is Travis Kelce. He leads the league in reception yards since 2016 and has the most 15-plus yard receptions since 2019. Both of these lists are not just for tight ends. They include wide receivers, and he beats out some of the greatest receivers in the league. What's mind-blowing to me about the 15-plus receiving yard stat is that a lot of the passes that he catches are under 15 yards, and these are mainly being created with yards after catch, which is wild. The Chiefs Twitter page actually shared this post saying, "Next question, please," which is kind of savage, but we all know it's the truth. And it's pretty crazy, but pretty awesome to think about, that we are witnessing one of the greatest to ever do it and have been watching him pretty much every Sunday since 2013, just scratch his rookie year since he had surgery on his knee and basically missed that entire season. Anyway, a lot of comments and arguments for someone like George Kittle being tight end 1 on this poll, where that Kittle is a better overall tight end because he can block better and Kelce can't block. Well, he actually can block, but when he's that much of a receiving threat, why would you not put his strength on display and utilize that? We have 3 other tight ends that can block, so let them do it. And I found this comment fitting from somebody named Debo Stan. So you obviously know he's not a Chiefs fan. He says this in regards to Kelce leading the league in receiving yards. He says he's leading it because he's more of a slot receiver in a pass-heavy offense. The narrative there, he can't block, is false, though. I watched some games back to try and prove that and had to admit the opposite. He can definitely block, he just isn't asked to as much. So there you have it, a 49ers fan himself confirming that Travis Kelce can block. Anyway, my question to you all is this: in an alternate universe in which Travis Kelce didn't actually exist, which of these tight ends would you pick and why? Because we all know he's tight end one. There's no debating that. But I'm curious, if he wasn't around, who would you like to have on the team? And then the Chiefs recently released an article taking a look back at every 5th round draft pick in Chiefs history. They've already released articles on every 6th and 7th round pick, and we've covered that as well, which has been fun. So let's take a look at this. Here's some notables for me personally. You have Dante Hall in 2000, 153rd overall. Love me some Dante, let's go. And then you have Scott Fujita in 2002, and I bring him up mainly because every time I saw his last name, I wanted a fajita. And then several for me within the past 6 years or so stood out. You have Tyreek Hill in 2016, Mike Dana in 2020, and then Noah Gray and Cornell Powell both in 2021. And I bring up Dana, Noah Gray, and Cornell Powell all because they are still currently with the Chiefs and finding themselves as players in the NFL, growing and all that. I hope that Noah Gray and Cornell Powell have some breakout years as well as Dana, if we're going to be honest. But the biggest grab for me was the risk we took on Tyreek Hill back in 2016. We obviously know he was taken in the 5th round because of off-the-field issues, but what a come-up story from a 5th round pick to the league's highest paid receiver. It's been a heck of a journey for him, that is for sure. Anyway, here's a few notes at the bottom of this article worth mentioning. Former wide receiver Carlos Carson, who was inducted into the Ring of Honor in 2017, played in the most games, 120, in a Chiefs uniform of any 5th round pick in franchise history. From there, it was wide receiver Dante Hall with 97 games, wide receiver Tyreek Hill, 91, cornerback Brandon Carr was next at 64. Tyreek Hill has the 6th most receiving yards in franchise history, and Dante Hall was one of the top return men in NFL history ever, point blank period, with a total of 13 kicks for scores during his 7 years in KC, and setting an NFL record with a return TD in 4 straight games during the 2003 campaign. I remember those games. We were going nuts in the living room watching the human joystick run around like it was a game of Madden. And then Tyrann Mathieu is back at it with some deleted tweets on Twitter, but this one is an interesting and shows another potential team for the Honey Badger here in free agency. Definitely worth mentioning, at least as something to keep an eye on. Mathieu responded to a tweet suggesting that the reason he had not signed with the Eagles just yet in his free agency is because of Kyle Hamilton's falling draft stock. The former Notre Dame star defensive back may potentially fall out of the top 10 and into the teens, right where the Eagles are picking. Hamilton has massive upside and would be playing on a much cheaper deal than Mathieu. So yeah, this guy says that Philly would prefer to address safety in the draft before committing money, big money at that, at the position. Tyrann Mathieu replied to this tweet simply saying, LOL, yeah, okay, as if the guy has no idea what he's talking about. So my question is there something to this? Is Tyrann Mathieu in talks with the Eagles? Are they still in play? Or let's back up here. What about the Saints? I guess we will find out eventually. I mean, who really knows what to make of things? Tyrann says on Twitter sometimes, if we are going to be honest, but what I will be honest about is Tyrann will not be landing with the Colts, that is for sure, as they recently signed Eagles former safety Rodney McLeod and cornerback Stephon Gilmore. That's right, folks. We know the Chiefs were interested potentially in Gilmore, but he's gone to the Colts on a 2-year, $23 million contract that includes $14 million guaranteed. And let's be honest here, there was no freaking way. I mean, there was not a snowball's chance in hell that Brett Veach would have paid that much money for a cornerback. Literally 0% chance. And that means Giants cornerback James Bradberry is the best remaining veteran cornerback option for the Chiefs if they want it. They could potentially be waiting for the Giants to release him, or maybe they have their eye on another free agent corner. You have Bashaud Breeland, Kyle Fuller, Richard Sherman, among others on that list still. Or maybe, and this is probably the way I'm leaning at this point in time, the Chiefs may just be content with Fenton and Snead holding it down with DeAndre Baker, Luke Barku, DiCaprio Bootle, and Brandon Dandridge on the team, and then adding another player or two in this year's draft. I will say, given the Chiefs' history on investing very little into the cornerback position, I mean, let's put it this way, they invest less into the cornerback position than Missouri invests into their highways upkeep. It is horrible. And I'd say this is the direction they are probably leaning, just keeping who they have, adding a couple in the draft, and making it happen. But I guess you never really know. What do you guys think about the cornerback situation? Are we going to grab a vet free agent before the draft, after the draft, or not at all? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. And then this is some news you all need to be in the know about It's horrible and tragic and not good. Dallas Cowboys cornerback Kelvin Joseph, a second-round draft pick in 2021, made the news recently and is being connected to a fatal shooting. I mean, literally the gunshots came out of the car that he was in. It's not good. The Dallas Cowboys released a statement on Friday saying that they are aware of cornerback Kelvin Joseph's possible connection to a fatal shooting that occurred last month in Dallas. They, quote, are in contact with Dallas law enforcement and have alerted the NFL office. Joseph's lawyer, Barry Sorrells, told the Dallas Morning News on Friday that Joseph, 22, was an unarmed passenger in a vehicle from which gunshots were fired, killing a 20-year-old man named Cameron Ray on March 18th after an alleged altercation outside a Dallas nightclub. His lawyer said this: Kelvin Joseph did not shoot Cameron Ray. Mr. Ray's death is a tragedy, and Kelvin extends his deepest condolences for the family's loss. On the night of March 17th, Kelvin was unarmed and was not looking for violence. He found himself in a situation that escalated without his knowledge or consent. Along with condolences to the Rays family, Kelvin apologizes to the Dallas community for being anywhere near this type of incident. The investigation is ongoing and we intend to respect the process. And yeah, the NFL is currently reviewing the matter as well, but will more than likely let the legal process play out first. But a video recently emerged of Kelvin Joseph leaving his attorney's office in Dallas, where apparently he was being questioned by the Dallas Police Department there for a few hours. He didn't really have much to say to the reporters. He actually said nothing at all and just left. This is horrible, guys. Not a good look that Kelvin Joseph did not report this to the police until he was later connected to this incident via CCTV footage and then questioned. It's not good at all. Even if he wasn't the guy who shot him, he still may face consequences and be released from the team. He withheld this information. I mean, yeah, it's not good. I mean, this is all allegedly and reportedly. We got to let the process play out and all that good stuff. But bad company really does, or at least can, corrupt good character. So be careful who you choose to surround yourselves with, where you choose to go and spend your time, and when you choose to spend it, as it's a crazy world out there. And moments like this, decisions like this could change and alter your life forever and end people's lives, ruin people's lives forever. So yeah, it's sad, guys. What are your thoughts on this? It is a tragic situation, that is for sure. Make sure to stay smart and stay safe out there, guys. And I will keep you updated on this situation as it progresses, as well as all things Chiefs and NFL news related. Make sure to sub for more daily news like this and check out this video here from the previous day's news in case you missed it. So until next time, let's go. How about those